hand thing is the ampersand, and then the @ symbol is.
I mean, at this point, the ampersand is a monkey from Y the Last Man.
That's exactly what I was going to say. I always think of the monkey.
Yeah.
So the @ symbol has to.
I actually attribute knowing how to use ampersand correctly to Brian K. Vaughan.
Thank you, Brian K.
Thank you,
Vaughan.
Brian
Can you
K.
actually
Vaughan.
draw an ampersand?
Yes,
though?
I can.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm really good at the ampersand.
That's impressive. I
Yeah.
can type an ampersand.
I have exceptional penmanship.
Well, why don't you introduce us to the people at home?
Greetings, hi everybody, and welcome to Dot Geek. I am Danny Danger.
I am Mark Gardner. Hey.
I am Josh Rubin. Welcome, welcome.
Welcome to our show. We're going to talk about this week's awesome geek news. The first most exciting thing, of course, being the Entertainment Weekly cover for X-Men Age of Apocalypse. Because, oh my God, I have 2 words for you all. Mohawk Storm. I got it, yes!
This has to be like the best moment of your
Danny
life when you saw that
Victorious. I don't know how many like extra credit points or extra lives. Like I just leveled up.
Yeah,
so
I
many
mean, now are you
times.
disappointed that you didn't make the cover though? Because I mean,
I am. I actually would swap her out for Psylocke in a heartbeat. I care like so much.
You would swap her
more.
out for Psylocke even with all. Well, I mean, I would swap her out for Psylocke.
Yeah,
as well,
I do. Like,
Is it the costume? What do you think? Because we had a big conversation about the costume just last week.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think now that we finally see the costume? How do you feel about her costume?
I feel like the first time she does anything heavy action, it's going to chafe a lot. I'm concerned for her skin. I am really concerned for her skin.
There will be chafing.
will
Yeah,
I mean, that's fine, but you were bitching about a variety of other things. We're not going to roll
Wedgies.
tape on that, but like,
No,
I mean,
chafing.
it looks good.
It looks
I'm not a
okay.
fan.
I don't know if it looks
It is
good.
Psylocke's costume.
I think
Well, it's not necessarily
her
good.
current running costume in the comics is much better. I think it's edgier. I think it looks more fierce. I would if this girl were coming at me wearing that outfit, I'd be like, what is happening here? Like, am I on candid
I would
camera?
not complain.
You probably
And
would.
neither
I'm
would
not
you.
saying that I would complain. I'm just saying I would be like, what is
Thank
that?
you.
Am I on?
Thanking your lucky stars that the world was this weird.
I'm not saying that I don't want to see a lot of Olivia Munn. I do. That's a different movie. That is an entirely separate movie.
Here's
that's
my
what
question:
Google
are they going to
Image searches
do
for.
like full on Betsy Braddock was a British and mind swap thing? Like, I don't know what they're doing with the origin because Psylocke's origin is somewhat convoluted.
They're redoing all of the origin stuff.
just
for
doesn't
this.
matter anymore?
Yeah, because even listening to the directors talking about this, they're like, this is going to be a fresh slate for the new and young X-Men. I mean, I don't think that the origins for the past however many years Psylocke's been around make any difference
But
at all.
introducing Storm with the mohawk.
Yeah.
I'm okay with it.
Are we not going to have full head of hair Storm and then something happens and now she's
That was
mohawk?
what Halle
There
Berry
is, so
did.
I am sort of curious about that because in the comic, in this, you're seeing the Claremont, and I mean, like the first panel where you turn the page and you see her step out. I mean, everyone had the same reaction as Kitty Pryde, which was, what? And I mean, it's really like I remember just being floored at that panel, turning the page and seeing that, and I was just really excited. So I would like to see because in the comic, this Storm does this because of an emotional response to a lot of things that are happening in her life because this is right after Dark Phoenix saga. So I mean, this is like a very emotional character change for her, and I'm curious to know if they're
Is it
going
before or
to
after she loses her powers to Forge's thingy?
after.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
So I'm really curious to see if they incorporate the Mohawk as like that character shift and what they do with Storm's character, because like we've talked about this before, I feel like Storm, when written correctly, is rife with a lot of great storytelling potential that nobody really wants to touch.
Nobody's gonna touch
Can I say, Will, toss up the picture full screen, because if you look at this, like the Psylocke outfit is fine. She wears purple. Everyone else is also purple.
Yeah, there's a lot of purple
That's
in
a
there.
lot of purple in this shot, and I will say that Darkman 119 is a man after your own heart, because he happened to put the comment, "Oh my God, it's Ivan Ooze."
It is! It's Ivan Ooze!
That is going all over the place right now.
It really
That's
is, and I'm kind of okay with it because it makes me giggle. I'm totally gonna go home and like rewire my whole living room setup so I can watch Power Rangers on VHS.
Well, okay,
tonight,
I was about
by
to
the
say,
way.
That would be an awesome retconning of Power Rangers if you went like Ivan Ooze is now Apocalypse.
Yes.
For those of you who don't
Mush it
know,
together.
Ivan Ooze was a villain in the Power Rangers movie. I didn't know until I came in here today because I have never watched that. Why would I watch the Power Rangers
so
movie?
bad, it's good.
I don't want to waste my time watching a
It's
bad
fun.
movie.
It is. It's fun.
It's like
actually,
I could have seen the Minions this weekend. I chose not to.
chose not to.
From what I hear, I made the right choice.
Yeah. Well, you know.
I did see Ant-Man though, but that's another conversation.
But I do. It's really funny because I'm interested. I'm excited about this movie. So being fairly new to Game of Thrones, also, I'm really excited about Jean Grey Stark. The North remembers. The North remembers that time that you lit on fire and ate an entire universe.
That will be fun. I am really interested.
That's a lot
in
of
that.
mashing up of
That really is.
conceptually.
Yeah.
That's
I do believe that she is an amazing actress, and I am very much looking forward to her being Jean Grey because Jean Grey.
I think it will be an improvement because I was always disappointed in Jean Grey in the movies.
I would watch Famke Janssen butter toast, but not dressed as Jean Grey. I did not care for her in that role, and not to say that it's necessarily solely her responsibility, but I am. It's easy to make Jean Grey as sanctimonious and boring as Cyclops, if
Clearly.
not more so.
Clearly.
But it's also, easy with a little bit of, creative writing and thought to make her a very wonderful, exciting character. She's one of my favorite
right up
characters.
until she
always has
dies
been.
and comes back.
And then
Again.
repeat, wash, rinse,
One more
repeat.
time. Which, for what it's worth,
That's her superpower, to be bland and come back to life.
for what it's worth, the new Jean Grey, the young Jean Grey that's currently running, that is time traveled, I love her.
She's
And
amazing.
She is great.
Yeah.
She is like
And all
putting
new
aside all this
X-Men?
Cyclops stuff that's just like changing her life. She's great. I love her.
Yeah. She's but bringing the X-Men back from the past and retelling that story has been great for all the characters.
It really has, yeah, for
It's
sure.
the first time I found Cyclops interesting.
Yeah,
Period.
absolutely.
All right. Next topic.
Next topic.
We're done with that topic.
Yeah.
So
What?
I'm going to say it. I'm going to tell you. We're doing the thing with the thing.
The thing with the thing we're supposed to do?
So what we're going to do? No, what we're going to do? That's what we're supposed to launch the
Yeah,
show
that's
with, but we didn't.
Remember
do
the thing
that.
we're supposed to
So the
launch?
thing,
Yeah.
No, the thing we're going to do right now is because we are Dot Geek and this is the Daily Dot. What I want to do is I want to go through what articles we have on the Daily Dot right now that we think you should probably read because we like them,
Yes.
and the ones that we're digging right now. So we'll start with Danny. Danny, what is the article on the Daily Dot that you're digging at the moment?
The green lighter. The green lighter. You guys, this is hysterical. So there's this idea in comic book superhero movies that girls are just really hard, you guys. And this video totally makes fun of it. Just completely makes fun of that. Takes a superhero, the green lighter, and who is basically a woman who is going to pitch, produce, direct, make a female superhero movie happen. And it's just so funny. I mean, if I were an exec at Marvel, I would watch this and just like have to laugh at myself.
I gotta tell you, watching this video, the best part of this video for me was when there was the screenwriter who's like, how can I make this movie with a female lead? And she comes to the pen and she's like, search and replace he for she.
And choose a
Oh
female
my
name.
God. It was amazing.
And you don't
It was
even have to
amazing.
choose a girl's name. I mean, Danny, hi.
Hey, there you go.
That's okay.
We're going with full on Pat style.
It's Pat
It's
in the
Pat.
Marvel Universe. What was that parody they did? SNL did a thing where they had like the next Marvel superhero, and it was like just some lady that just was a homeowner that ended up in space, and she was like
Space
Grace.
homeowner?
Yeah, something like
But
that.
isn't
It
that
was
what's going on in
hysterical.
the Silver Surfer right now? Actually, kind of.
Kind of.
Sure,
Yeah.
I guess I'm gonna read it. So I don't know.
Kind of what's happening in
Space
Silver
homeowner.
Surfer.
But
that-
I do. This is
yeah.
this is brilliant. I mean, because the premise that women are harder to write than men means that you're a bad writer.
Women are hard.
No, they're not.
No, they're
They're
not.
hard.
No, they're
We're like-
not.
well, I tell you what. Come at it from
They're
an angle of
complicated.
we're just
So
people,
we're people.
and then move on from
They
there.
are people.
People suck. Women are complicated.
No, I don't. I disagree.
I don't know what exactly that
I don't know what
means,
that
but
means
it sounds funky. All right, Mark, if you could tell me which article on the dot should everyone at home be reading right now?
The thing that made me kind of like giggle a lot, because I giggle, when I read was Vin Diesel had his birthday, and his birthday cake was a Dungeons and Dragons themed birthday cake with the player's handbook, the Dungeons Master Guide, and the monster manual in there. Just a big cake. I love that. I love the fact that Vin Diesel is such a hardcore Dungeons and Dragons guy. You hear a lot of people be like, "Oh, Dungeons and Dragons." Vin Diesel loves this stuff, and you know what? So do a bunch of the San Antonio Spurs. Tim Duncan loves Dungeons and Dragons. Little known fact. Little known fact. So I kind of love that. I love that it's out there, and we're putting all these people out there. That are
Who's
doing
Tim
this.
Duncan?
Get out. Just get out. San Antonio Spurs.
Even I know who Tim
Get
Duncan
out.
is. You can't be this close to San
seriously,
Antonio and
get
not
out.
like the Spurs.
My
Someone
studio.
will come to your house and
I
kill
specifically
you.
am doing a geek show, so I don't have to watch or care about
Be a
sports
geek
whatsoever.
about- you can
The
geek
Spurs
about
are the
whatsoever.
most well-run franchise in sports
Ever.
Even I know that.
Ever. Disappointed in you, Josh.
So don't care.
Oh my God,
It's-
they're amazing.
I don't care. Again, fat Jewish kid growing up. They're like shooting. No.
I have met my quota for my
No.
one sports reference per year on the show.
Done.
Check.
I watched
Done.
the '86
Moving
World
on.
Series with the Mets versus the Red Sox. That's like the last sporting event I ever.
And you
actually
chose
watched.
baseball?
I didn't choose.
Just-
I didn't
Wow, of all the
that.
things you're to watch, you choose
My
baseball.
parents are from Brooklyn. It was just.
I guess.
So it's my turn.
It's your
Oh, you
turn.
talk.
And,
Okay.
and it's funny enough, it's about sports. It is not about sports. I don't care about sports. What it is about is a fantastic article about some parents that are much better parents than I am, who have basically turned their nursery into a giant Mario Kart extravaganza. And that, I mean, my wife painted our kids' rooms. We don't clean them because there's no point. Because
I
it's
wonder
silly.
what this looks like a week after this photo shoot.
Well, they were smart. They specifically put Mario on the ceiling where the kid can't get it.
Absolutely.
However, the kid's gonna what a weird thing to have in the back of your psyche, like forever. Why is there an Italian man on the ceiling of my bedroom?
Staring
They're
at
gonna
me
have
every
the
night.
weirdest nightmares. And,
Oh my
they're in
God.
their 30s, or they're gonna have a thing for short mustached men.
From
Somebody's
Canada.
gotta.
No, they're amazing parents, but I mean, part of the fun of being a parent is psychologically damaging your child in fun and new ways.
And they will never be able to enjoy Mario Kart. That's just sad, actually.
Or they'll be
Scarring
like really
them for Mario
obsessed
Kart.
with it. I do kind of
I don't
like
know, that's creepy.
I do kind of like the idea of like, because you put this much effort into your kid's room, you have to leave it. And then there's this idea like, once your kid gets of a certain age, you have to like repaint their room because
right.
it's not like,
What did you repaint your, like me? It was black splatter paint. I sincerely black splatter painted my room, and I had a queen size waterbed.
Wow.
That's what I'm talking about. And 2 ferrets.
Oh my God.
Just putting that
I
out
am
there.
getting
That's
a
amazing.
really
Enjoy.
full circle
Do with
image of
that
you as
what
a
you
young
will.
adult.
That's amazing.
Do with that what you will.
I never repainted my room because it
And-
was always
and
like white
eventually-
walls.
I painted mine like
Boring.
watermelon.
Eventually, someone did sleep with me.
Eventually, someone
It
did
was
sleep
several
with me.
years later, and the ferrets were dead at that point. But
Hopefully you would have taken them out of your
the
room.
waterbed was gone as well.
Waterbed
Waterbed was
was gone.
gone.
The ferrets were removed from the room. So
Yeah,
you
we
had
moved
dead
by
dis-
that point. It was
Okay, all
yeah.
right.
But you got to be true to your. I mean, you got to embrace your past because.
true.
Anyway, next topic.
I do
Anyway,
love this though for what it's worth. I love this. I don't know if I would ever put this much work into
Your child.
Yes, my child. No, but I mean, just having to redo this after a few years.
You don't redo this.
No, you like Mario Kart, whether you want to like
brother-in-law-
Mario Kart or not, because I put a lot of effort into this
No,
kid.
the kid wants to. No, fuck that kid. If he wants to redo this.
No, you're doing Mario Kart, whether you like it or
Cool.
not.
Well, you tear all this shit down and you get it all set up how you want it.
It was
now,
hysterical.
and,
My
we'll go
brother-in-law
with
bought
that.
a house when he moved in. There was an entire room with nothing but Looney Tunes characters everywhere, and this was like his workroom, and it was just weird to walk in there and just see all these Looney Tune characters. It was just weird.
It's gonna be like my Wonder Woman office. Our whole dining room is like Wonder Woman.
That'd be fun.
Yeah.
Dining room office. Yay!
Hey.
So, one of the other news topics that has been tickling me absolutely pink this week is Lucasfilms released their statement on Amy Schumer's controversial GQ cover. I mean, it's Amy Schumer on the cover of GQ. I don't really see any controversy there. But they released their statement. Basically wagging their finger and saying, we did not approve this. Well, no shit, you didn't approve this.
Yeah.
Really?
Don't care that you didn't approve it.
Announcement.
Yeah.
I'm totally floored that you didn't approve this. So I find this really interesting for a lot of reasons. One being that nobody at Lucasfilms gave a flying crap when Zack and Miri made a good 1/3 of a movie featuring an actual Star Wars themed porno. And I have an image from that is maybe a little bit more risque than Amy Schumer, not by a lot. But, I mean, seriously, you guys didn't complain about that, but
Well,
you're going to give Amy Schumer
No,
But
they
there
didn't
are-
complain about that. Do we know?
We did. I looked it up.
Okay,
if they
but-
did, there was no public statement released. They just wrote Kevin Smith a very nasty email.
But looking at that, as opposed to the other thing.
Kevin Smith specifically in the third Jay and Silent, or the Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back, actually had Mark Hamill on as Cockknocker, I think was his name, doing a whole Star Wars riff.
It almost sort of like it's almost sort of one of those things where Disney is like, oh no, this is acceptable. That was before Disney owned it. So there is.
But looking at the Zack and Miri thing, that picture, I mean, that's supposed to be C-3PO. It looks nothing like C-3PO. Whereas looking at the cover of GQ, that is clearly C-3PO in that picture. Is that the line for them? The fact that it is clearly?
I think they're upset that, frankly, because clearly C-3PO is gay and would have nothing to do with Amy Schumer.
It's like, don't misrepresent our characters like that.
No, exactly. I mean, he is a very specific
if this was Chris Evans
I don't know.
sucking on C-3PO's finger, they would be fine with it.
Stop it, Mark. Stop it. Different show. Danny's
Different show.
You're doing a lot for Danny here.
I know. I try to help you out when I can.
I mean, this is enough. So I just think it's really funny, like putting this into perspective. 1 week after the Slave Leia action figure hits toy stores, they're like, "Oh, but no, this is not acceptable, Amy Schumer." And I'll tell you what, I would not buy this action figure, but I would totally buy an action figure of Amy Schumer BJing a lightsaber. And this is how you can make 3D printing work for you, people.
Hey, there you go. 3D printing for home and
Danny's
fun and
things.
things.
I think that Star Wars is taking itself a little too seriously and should honestly be grateful for the free press.
Do they? They don't need free press.
They really
no, they don't.
No,
but still,
I mean, if they were an independent thing, they'd be like, "Oh yes, talk about us." I mean, these people own media.
Amy Schumer is one of the most influential comedians out there right now. She's definitely the most influential female comedian right now.
Her satire over the state of women in society is so on point in everything she's done. It's amazing. She's just really, really good at that right now. And there are a lot of people that have problems with her or say that her work is very problematic in X, Y, or Z. But I really think if you look at it, this whole photo shoot to me is a great statement on a lot of the things that we do in entertainment. I love it. I think it's great.
I think it's brilliant. I think it's great. And I think Lucasfilms, I mean, I don't think that they necessarily needed to say that we don't approve of that. I mean, it's obvious they don't approve of that.
I don't think they
saying? Does it need? Do you really have to put out a press? Like, I feel like they were just being someone's really grouchy, overbearing mom. They were like, "Let's do a press release to just show everyone how not cool we are."
Or
right
just
now.
watch every Star Wars Robot Chicken or Star Wars Family Guy riff.
Yes.
And did they issue a press release
No.
about that?
No.
Why this one? Why did they
odd.
choose this?
Yeah,
I
why
don't
this?
Get that.
I mean, this of all things, like, honestly, if I worked at Lucasfilms, I would be like, fuck yes.
I bet that most of the people at Lucasfilms are like, this is amazing.
This is awesome.
Like 99% have to be loving this.
Yeah.
Somebody somewhere said, oh, that's not acceptable for a family kind of thing.
Yeah, it just feels like somebody at Lucasfilm's PR department was like, I have an idea. Let's be a big stick in the mud this week. This will be our week of stick in the mud. And then we'll just move on.
Speaking of moving on. Next topic.
What a great
So
transition.
we have actually, to talk about there's been a little bit of controversy this week about the Marvel hip-hop covers, which we talked about last week a little bit, we touched on. And we have actually brought a Daily Dot writer and contributor, Asia Romano, to talk to us a little bit about this controversy. Hello, Asia. How are you doing? I'm going to put on my headphones so I can hear you now.
Hi, Asia. Welcome.
Hello. So, do you want me to speak? I will speak.
You may speak. You may
Welcome.
speak.
Welcome to
You
the
may speak.
party.
Welcome to the geek.
So we talked a little bit about the hip hop covers, and basically Marvel is putting out variant covers. If you missed our show last week, Marvel's putting out variant covers as tribute to historical hip hop albums. And someone asked Marvel, "Hey, you're putting out all these hip hop covers, and yet you don't have any real black contributors or black creators in your fold. What's up with that?" And how do you feel like? I feel like Marvel's response was a little off-putting. What exactly did Marvel say, or what was going on with that?
First, it was Tom Brevoort responding on his own Tumblr, where he's been known to be very flippant and sarcastic in the past. So, I think what was going through his head was something very, high-level corporate in his answer, but came off to the entire rest of the world as, really, that's your response? It was totally tone deaf and completely off base. And essentially, someone asked him about, as you said, the discrepancy between putting out these, culturally appropriating variant covers while not having any Black creators in the main series title lineup. And I think it's also important to note that the actual lineup of artists doing the covers was not very representative. There were a total of 22 artists doing the covers, and I believe only 5 of those were Black men. There were other people of color in the lineup, mostly Latino men, but there were only 2 women overall, and there were no Black women in these creator variants. So just in the actual lineup of the variant covers, you had a very, very underrepresented schematic of creators. And then Tom Brevoort's reply was in response to, how do these 2 things add up, was what does one have to do with the other, really? Which is just totally the wrong response.
I don't know. Well, maybe, but you mentioned this. You talked about this as being cultural appropriation. I don't know that I agree with that because it feels like an homage. It really does, and I think and it looks like it was actually done fairly respectfully. I mean, this is not
right. But when you have Black readers and Black comic fans who are responding in droves to this thing, saying this is deeply angering to me. I feel like Marvel only wants. There was a really good quote from a writer at Women Read Comics. I forget her name, but I can give you guys the quote later. She basically said something like, "Marvel only wants my swag; they don't want my talent," which I think is absolutely true. And when Marvel is sort of plucking that, the culture out of the ether without actually giving Black creators a chance to be involved in, creating the Marvel culture and the Marvel superhero legacy, then yeah, it does. I mean,
I know it feels like a damned if you do, damned if you don't scenario where basically if Marvel had gone out and say, hey, let's hire a bunch of Black artists to draw variant covers of old hip hop and mixing, they would have come back and said, oh, you're only hiring us to work on, this is tokenism. You're only hiring us to work on this.
The artists that they have are very, very, very strong, talented artists like Damian Scott, who actually had his name misprinted in the press release, the official Marvel press release. So, I mean, I don't think it's a damned if you do situation at all. I think it's absolutely Marvel should be doing better. They have all this talent. Right now, they're the most powerful comics creator in the industry. I mean, why couldn't they have at least one Black female artist doing the hip hop variant? Plus, when you have no Black creators doing your main lineup, I mean, it is a glaring oversight. It seems like there is a definite connection between Black readers feeling alienated and the creation, the actual industry side not having the space for them, which I think sort of is reflected in all kinds of things, honestly.
I think that there is a lot. Well, so first of all, talking about racial representation in Marvel, I think it's really, really clear that Marvel editorial and Marvel Comics have time and again illustrated a commitment to telling compelling stories about characters of color and promoting characters of color and even promoting creators of color. They've basically got. I mean, they've more or less almost got a monopoly on impactful Latino representation right now, compared to other comic book companies. And Ms. Marvel definitely makes a huge impression. To me, the company that put out Ms. Marvel and has done a successful 7 printings and has time and time again come back and created these new thought-provoking characters. The company that made Falcon Captain America, that made Sam Captain America. This would have been a really great opportunity for Marvel to get out ahead of questions that to me seemed very obvious.
Absolutely.
And we were talking about this earlier, if Marvel did a line of Pride variant covers, it just seems second nature that the first question you would expect was, hey, Marvel, you have queer characters, you have these queer variant covers, who are your queer creators? To which Marvel can respond, oh, well, we've got this person, da-da-da-da. It seems silly to me that the general impression that the folks at Marvel or this gentleman on Tumblr, his first reaction was kind of like, why are people asking this? Well, why didn't you ask yourself that? And why didn't you get out ahead of it? You're completely reworking your entire universe. Surely that is a reason to say, hey, we're putting out this homage to these hip hop covers. They're great covers. We would like to take this opportunity, now that we're reworking our universe and constantly releasing new titles, we want to do a talent search. We want to find more creators of color. We want to bring them into the fold. There are Black creators out there who would love to go work for Marvel. They're not unicorns. They're real people.
I think I agree with you on that a lot. I mean, reading the article that you were mentioning before, I do think that article was a little
inflammatory.
Inflammatory is a good word for it.
You know, it was.
I disagree with some of the statements in there, especially when you do look. I mean, clearly there's a long way to go. We have a long way to go before we get anywhere near the type of representation we need on the back end and the front end of these things. At the same time, I don't feel like Marvel is the company that is really in the back. They should have been leading. Just like you said, they totally should have been leading. They are leading, but not from what they're talking about. They're leading from Luke Cage being on a TV show. They're leading from Black Panther being in a movie. They're leading from Kamala Khan getting a 7th printing. But what they're talking about in this specific situation is the contributors and the artists that are creating their works. And that's where they weren't leading in this case.
And this even branches into your producers and your directors and your writers. I mean, this goes
which leads
all the way around. You can't just only market to black fans. You can't only market to diverse readers if you're not actually willing to let those readers into the fold and let them have, you know, a stake in creating, you know, and I think that that's something that's been on everybody's minds. You know, last week at Comic-Con at the DC presser, Dan DiDio explicitly talked about this very thing, and he talked about how it's not only important just to make room for black characters, but also to make room for black creators and more diverse array of creators. So I think the fact that, you know, that we're even having these conversations is a good thing. But yeah, Marvel just needs to be doing more.
I'm just kind of surprised. Like, I kind of want to be like, Marvel, here's my resume. I will do this for you. I will do this for you. Basically, I will just cover your ass. That's my job.
Well,
hire me to cover your ass.
Oh, yeah, that's right. They just need to read Tumblr. They just need to get on Tumblr for an hour and be like,
that will be my job, is just being on Tumblr all day.
That's what we miss.
I mean, honestly, like 80% of our cultural problems would be solved if the people in the PR departments at these places just read Tumblr. I mean,
seriously.
We might find an additional 80% of problems too.
I think you're just exchanging some problems for other problems.
We'll fix that one, but then we got a whole other so many problems.
Corgi obsession.
Although I tell you what, if we were on Tumblr more, I would not have to have this Poison Ivy Harley Quinn debate every day. But I digress. So this actually leads us into a really good conversation about the upcoming Black Panther movie that you were talking about this weekend. That there was a press release about the more specific reasons why the director that they had sort of slated for the movie broke it off and decided it wasn't going to work out.
Right. It wasn't a press release. Ava DuVernay, who of course is the acclaimed director of Selma, was sort of headlined to be, for months to be the chosen director for this film, and she walked away a couple of weeks ago, essentially citing creative differences. And over the weekend, she was the keynote speaker at the Blog Her conference. And she got asked in the Q&A session after about her reasons more specifically. And so she elaborated a little bit. And it was really interesting because she basically said, this is my time to be an auteur, essentially. I want to have my authorial stamp on it. And if I feel like I can't get that control, then I don't want this movie, which, she was really excited because she said, it would be going all over the place, all over the world, and it would have the kind of reach that she wouldn't have on her own. But because of that, she felt more of a responsibility, I believe, to really make sure that it had her signature on it. And when she couldn't feel justified in that, then she walked away. But she also said something at that same keynote address, which I thought was really interesting, which was she was asked, if she had any advice for up-and-coming women and creators in the industry. And her advice was follow the white men because they have the system wired. And I think that's it, because the white men have created the system, and through no fault of their own, obviously. But Hollywood is obviously a patriarchal industry, just like everything else. And when you see
run by the Jews,
when you see a woman like Ava DuVernay having successfully navigated those waters, and then saying, learn what to take from the system, and then learn how to walk away, and you see her walking away from a really, really amazing project like Black Panther. And you, at the same time, we're talking about all these issues with diversity in Marvel. Obviously, Marvel Studios is a whole separate leg of Marvel. But it does make you wonder, how are these systems that we're building that are so conducive to allow white men to succeed, are they conducive to allow, black female creators like Ava DuVernay to succeed? And should Marvel be doing more to sort of rethink, the position that it's put itself in? If someone like Ava DuVernay can say, I'm not going to have the creative control that I need and it's really important to me. Maybe there were ways that they could have, compromised and worked together to make that happen.
But every director since the dawn of time has to make that decision. That has zero to do with race. That has everything to do with creativity.
Well,
I fully
agree. Absolutely agree. But in this case, I think because you are specifically reaching out to Black creators, and you have a studio industry, like a studio system, which in Marvel's case is very heavily regimented. I think you need to work twice as hard to make sure that that system is regimented in favor of the kinds of new diverse voices that you're going to be bringing in. And we'll make them the comfortable creative space.
Just to play devil's advocate here, I think Marvel's only responsibility is to turn movies that make a god-awful amount of money for their shareholders. It's very regimented to keep it. No one has had a kind of a run on consistent quality and consistently popular films like Marvel has had right now. And I'm not saying that they shouldn't actively go out there and pursue a diverse and a varied perspectives in their directors and everything else, but to the extent that they should give extra creative control to someone.
Well, we don't honestly. I mean, you have a good point, but we don't actually know what that would involve. I mean, honestly, we don't know the specifics of why she walked away or why she felt she didn't have creative control, et cetera. And it's always going to be different. I mean, whether it's Edgar Wright walking away from Ant-Man, et cetera, right? But but I think if you are doing a project where you are specifically trying to recruit directors who have a completely different type of experience to tell a completely different type of narrative, you might also, want to make sure that you are doing everything you can to evaluate whether the system that you've created, which so far has mostly just allowed white men to be successful, is a system that will also allow Black directors to be successful, which we don't really have any way to really discuss that so far, because Marvel, as far as I know, has never had a Black director in the chair, especially not for a project as huge as this. So, I mean, there are many, many contenders for them to choose from if they wanted, but I think it's just a really good conversation to have and to think about.
I think they should basically go to Nollywood and find one of the biggest, baddest Nigerian directors to direct, because one's Black Panther movie, which is specifically an African-based movie, you could absolutely give it a completely different feel, a completely different vibe.
Well, they don't necessarily need to go to Nollywood. I mean, they have actors, there's the British actor, director, Ama Asante, who just directed Belle and Bessie for HBO. She is an immigrant, but she has East African parents, and she has filmed documentaries about that subject before. And then there's
that's fine. That's a documentary about something. This is a giant, superhero
right, but I'm
movie.
saying like someone like Lupita Nyong'o, who actually is Kenyan, and T'Challa, the Black Panther T'Challa, his African nation Wakanda is actually in East Africa. It borders Kenya. So I mean, someone with directorial experience like Lupita Nyong'o, who actually is from Kenya.
But what kind of movie? But are we talking like this is a superhero movie? I'm specifically referencing Nollywood as one of the largest outside of out of Hollywood and Bollywood, the largest film industry on the planet that produce a lot of high production value, high end films. You may be able to find some very talented, very good directors, but who don't have the experience trying to do a blowout superhero knockdown film.
I mean, but they also didn't they just announce a director for one of their other Phase 3 films who they basically touted as being excellent because he had no experience whatsoever. So, I mean, this is something that white men actually benefit from. So why shouldn't Lupita Nyong'o benefit from it too, right? I mean, she also has an actual film under her belt. She did direct a documentary about Kenyan life, and she has geek cred, and she's from Kenya. Why not?
I definitely think that there's a lot of space for a different directorial and production angle. I mean, even there were parts of Avengers: Age of Ultron that honestly felt like Joss Whedon was stopped or told no or told to do something different because there were like gaps sort of in the...
Well, I don't think Joss Whedon was ever stopped to say no. I think he was cut for time.
I think that's part of it, but I definitely got the feeling that Joss Whedon wasn't quite able to stretch his wings in the way that he wanted to on his production.
Man, I really don't know.
I don't know
about
that for
half
a
an
fact.
half an hour of content was cut from the final cut of that, and Josh does not like doing director's cuts, so we're never going to see this. It's never going to see the light of day. But there's been a lot of conversation about how much was actually cut from that.
I'm not talking about cut content. I'm talking about like stuff that made it into the movie that just felt out of place, and I was just kind of like, what?
Well,
Did
depending on
Joss
how you're
Whedon
cut,
really
something
write
that feels
that?
out of place makes total sense with
Tangent.
this 10 minutes of
Tangent.
footage off.
Yeah.
We're talking about filmmaking. That's a thing. That's what this show's about, right? Filmmaking? Is that
No.
what it's about?
No, it is not.
What?
Next.
I'm in the wrong place.
Next
Gotta
topic.
go.
But
Next topic.
Aja, thank you, or Asia, thank you so much for your input. We really,
Oh, sure.
really appreciate it, and your outlook. If you guys haven't already, you should head over to the Daily Dot page. This woman writes like a mad person, just like all the time. Amazing articles, and you should give them a read. She's got a lot of really great insight and input into the geek world.
Thank you.
Do that. Oh, you're welcome. Stop. Thank you. You do all the work. I just sit in this chair.
Thanks, Asia.
Thank you
and
for joining us,
compliment
Asia.
people.
Bye.
Bye.
I'm de-headphoning.
Oh yeah, there we
Yay.
go.
Oh,
All right,
that feels
let's
good. My
take
ears
the
can breathe
headphones
now.
off.
Ooh.
I want to get big headphones with like fuzzy ears on them.
Is this our next topic?
This is not the
That
next
is not
topic.
the next topic. Where did that even come from? What
What's
is
our
that
next
about?
topic?
But things
Ms.
you can
Marvel.
listen to through headphones now. Ms. Marvel the comic.
There we go.
So Ms. Marvel has made news several times over by getting a reprint after reprint after reprint. Finally, hit 7 reprints, which is mind blowing, which is staggering. So now they have said that they are doing a Ms. Marvel audiobook tape.
It's an audiobook. Yeah, it's an audiobook
thing.
But it's not quite an audiobook. It's more like, I think they called it a graphic audio is what they called it, or something like that. I mean, it's got the sound effects. It's everything. It's not like an audiobook where you're just reading. They really try to bring you into
It's
the
a
world.
radio play with pictures.
There you go. Except there's no necessarily pictures of them listening on my iPhone.
Well, so this is a really big deal to me, and you may remember a little while back when a bunch of people kind of poked aggressively at Netflix to make a version of the Daredevil show for the vision impaired, and I think that's brilliant because Daredevil, duh. If anybody in the world should be able to enjoy a Daredevil miniseries, it should be the visually impaired. I am all about this particular comic making it to audiobook because if you are having a hard time seeing the art of a comic, you should still get to enjoy Ms. Marvel. Everyone should get to enjoy Ms. Marvel.
How many comics do we know, like, is this a new thing? Because I had never really realized that comics were getting these adaptations for audiobooks. Is this a thing that I've missed out on?
No, it's something that's been done more and more with the advent of digital comics and comicsology and just trying to add a little bit of something extra to the
Okay,
mix.
just like it should have subscribed. So he's like,
Yeah,
hey,
yeah, yeah.
subscribe here and you get the digital audio version. kind
Yeah,
of thing.
yeah.
I just think it's really, really cool.
I think it's great that Ms. Marvel has seen such success. I love the book. It's one of my favorite books that I'm reading right now, and I love the fact that it's going to a 7th printing. It's going to hit 8, maybe. I don't know. How many books do that nowadays? Not a lot. And
Yeah.
the fact that they're going with audio. I tried to find something. I couldn't find a list of like recent stuff that's gone to 7 printings. I'm curious. What's out there? Internet, somebody out there knows. Let us know what's hit 7 or 8 printings because I'm curious.
It would have to have been something really like much older than nothing
Nothing
recent,
No,
nothing
nothing
new.
recent.
And definitely not from a Big 2 title. But I'm really, really pumped about this. I think it'll be a lot of fun, and I also think it'll be a really nice teaching tool because a lot of comics, more and more teachers are using comics to get kids into reading and more actively engaged in reading and art in the world around them. And so I think this kind of opens up yet another avenue for which teachers can do that.
I don't know. I think it's basically a way to dip your toes into, should we make this into a cartoon, TV show, or movie?
Yes, yes, and yes.
Before actually spending money on a pilot, let's just take the entire storyboard of said movie, move it around a little bit, and hire a couple of voice actors.
Why don't
and see
they
how
just
it's
do
received.
why don't they just do like an original series on YouTube then? Do like a pilot of that.
Because this is even cheaper than that.
Yeah, but I don't know. I'm a big fan of doing the original series online, which we can talk about later.
We can.
We can't. We'll move into that. Yeah.
Next topic.
Next topic. Next topic. So the Emmys, they announced the Emmy nominations this week. Normally I don't really care a whole lot about these nominations. There will be like this, and this, and this, and this, and this, and this that I like, and everything else I'm like, whatever. I really would like to see Orange is the New Black take away some awards. I really, really want to see. I'm so bad with names. Uzo Adoba, right?
Yes.
Okay, seriously, Give this woman an Emmy. I will give this woman an Emmy. I will painstakingly...
She needs an Emmy for that Saturday Night Live thing she did a few weeks back. That was Saturday Night Live? No, that was Funny or Die. The Funny or Die
Yeah,
thing.
the Funny or Die thing.
That was
Also, yeah.
great.
But seriously, like an Emmy in this show, like I'm so emotionally attached to this character. It's stupid. Ugly tears. Ugly tears.
I didn't notice. Honestly, I just glanced through the things. Is she even nominated?
Yes,
She
she
is?
is
Okay.
nominated as
All right.
supporting actress.
Okay, I missed that nomination. I apologize. There are a lot of them I'm interested in. Like, I am really excited Game of Thrones is nominated for Best Drama. Don't think it's going to win, but I love the fact that it was nominated. And I think that because
definitely
the past
dramatic.
it's very dramatic, but I think this past season was probably seen as kind of like a little bit of a dip as far as story goes. I loved it. I thought it was great, but I think that it was a little bit of a dip.
Yeah, because it was the last book where nothing actually fucking happened.
There you go. Yeah.
It was the only season I could marathon and not want to just like bury myself in an entire tub of ice cream. If
That's fair.
tells
Yeah.
you how impactful.
Yeah. I mean, a lot
seasons 1 through
happened.
4.
Just
Give me
I
a
need to bury
funnel,
my emotions.
melt it in the microwave,
I'm
eat
an
all my
emotional
feelings.
eater.
I mean, I seriously, my Game of Thrones to ice cream ratio is pretty intense.
Speaking of Game of Thrones, I would love to see Peter Dinklage win.
I
love
yes,
Peter Dinklage.
absolutely.
I don't think he's going to win this year either, but I would love to see him win. Lena Headey and Emilia Clarke are up for supporting actress, and I kind of love both of that. I feel like of them, Lena Headey might have a better option, if for nothing else, that horrific scene at the end of the last season. That's just... I don't care, body doubles or whatever. That was just
to take a character that I hate so much and to make me feel so many conflicting feelings about that character in one like 10-minute skit. I mean, give her a fucking Emmy.
I mean, it was great. It was great.
Give her an Emmy and all of my emotional investment.
It was quite the arc for a character. She did a great job with the arc of that character. There's a lot of other ones out there. You know, Parks and Rec is up for a comedy. That would be great. I mean, it's their last season, so give them an Emmy. Come on.
Aren't Key and Peele nominated?
Pity Emmy?
Key and Peele. Yeah.
What's that?
No, it's Pity Emmy.
Pity
it's the
Emmy.
last
Oh,
season.
yeah.
Give him an Emmy.
Give him a Pity Emmy. Key and Peele are nominated for a variety show. So is Amy Schumer. That's going to be a head-to-head. I honestly think Key and Peele has a better chance of winning than Amy Schumer, even though Amy Schumer is all the buzz right now. I feel like Key and Peele's show overall is maybe a little bit stronger than Amy Schumer's. I could be wrong.
I would be happy with either win.
Either one
But
of
if
them would
anybody
be great.
other than the two of them wins,
I think the
I will
energy
be
is on
very
Amy Schumer's
unhappy.
side.
The energy definitely is.
I would say if the Emmys were happening right after the White
Star
House
Wars cover?
Correspondents' dinner,
Oh, yeah.
maybe.
Yeah, you're right, because they had the anger translator.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I do really want to see, as much as I want to see Jon Stewart walk away with what is he nominated for? It's like best
It's
late night show,
it's
isn't
variety.
it? Or variety show? No, it's not variety. It's
I think it's called Variety.
I think it's called Variety, but I mean that
it's a
implies
weird
jumpers.
thing. Yeah, but I mean they're in the same category as Saturday Night Live.
and I always want to see Jon Stewart win. However, I think John Oliver really deserves that. I mean, he has just nailed some really great social things in these last couple of months.
He has. I think the show started off slow though. It took them a while to really get their footing. So for an Emmy to celebrate the overall work of the past year, I'm not sure that it's going to be as strong.
Maybe
as
next
Colbert
year.
or Daily. Maybe next
year.
Because they've
Just
really
give him
got their
another
footing
year to
now.
just like grab his footing. But I mean, there's this part of me that wants to see John Oliver and Jon Stewart just like having a beer. Like I would watch a whole hour of the two of them just shooting the shit
I'm
over
sure
beer.
they would,
Post Emmy
too.
show.
Yeah, post Emmy show.
They used to. I mean, they did.
They
Lots
did.
of
I mean,
times.
they're
Yeah, but
they
it wasn't-
started on the Daily Show. So.
Yeah, well, and no, but I am really excited to see that he's finding his voice. I don't think he'll get an Emmy, but it would be really nice to see. It's really nice to see him get the consideration for an Emmy alone.
It's just nice to see, like, so Saturday Night Live, part of the, the charm of it is that it spins out movie stars, usually, comedic movie stars coming out of it. And The Daily Show, on the other hand, it spun out Steve Carell, is the only movie star, I feel like, that spun out of it. They've spun out some incredible talk show hosts and comedic actors. Children's Hospital with Rob Corddry is great, although I don't know if it's mainstream as,
Children's
stuff
Hospital
that-
Definitely
was
not.
pretty
Started as
funny.
an online video only on YouTube.
Mark has feelings about
I
that.
have feelings about that.
It's got a great cast.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it really is. It's really well done. It's really well done. I will say one thing that bugs me, and this is like a minor nitpick thing, but it does kind of bug me. You're not even going to find this. You're going to have to dig through the technical awards for the nominations on this. But how can they not nominate Arrow for their stunts? They have some of the best stunt work on TV, on movies, anywhere. If you look at the fight scenes done in Arrow and all of these shows, it is hands down the best stuff out there. It is spectacular. How are you ignoring Arrow?
It's
I don't
on the
care.
CW.
I know. That's just
kind of
it.
It's
I
like the
think-
Canada of cable network.
I love Canada.
Canada's great.
Yeah, but you don't take it seriously.
Oh, there goes our
No,
Canadian
yeah, I
demographic.
do.
Goodbye, Canada. It's nice. Thanks for watching
No,
while
come
you.
back. I like you.
We like you, Canada.
like
Come
you.
on. But I mean, just because it's on the CW, don't automatically dismiss the show. I mean, yeah, maybe it's not as deep and serious and heady as Game of Thrones or House of Cards or something like that.
Although sometimes it tries to be.
It tries.
Part of
it
season 2.
tries, but it's a fun show, and the stunt work on Arrow is hands down the best entertainment right now. There's no reason
Yeah.
those guys shouldn't get an Emmy.
The stunt work does deserve some love and attention.
I mean, again,
Absolutely.
that's a nitpick, but come on, let's give some love to Arrow. Let's give some love.
See, this is nice. Normally, I'm the one nitpicking.
That's
This is
true.
refreshing.
Yeah, that's right.
This is very
nitpicking
refreshing.
right now.
We talking about this?
We're talking about everything.
No, we're talking about this.
I can't
Down.
see it.
Point
Oh,
down.
that. Oh, no, we can.
Oh yeah,
Kimmy
so
Schmidt is nominated for
I
it,
am.
too.
Kimmy Schmidt is actually nominated as well. This is really cool to me because there are a lot of each year they're getting more and more Netflix exclusive titles that are being nominated for Emmys, and this to me is sort of again a historical mark of the time when TV started to make that evolutionary change.
Well, everybody's been talking because right now, like Netflix nominations that I've seen were the Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, House of Cards, Orange is the Next Black, Grace
Black.
and Frankie. Or sorry, Orange
Grace
is the
and
New
Frankie,
Black.
by the way, is absolutely adorable. If you haven't watched it, go watch it. It's
It's great.
wonderful.
It feels like people have been talking for a while about the death of TV and all these. There's not going to be a death of TV. I'm going to tell you right now. The online entertainment world and the traditional entertainment world are going to merge, and there's going to be something different. But TV is not dying. It feels like this whole Netflix thing is just part of the transition that we're getting into, and the fact that more of these things are getting nominated and getting the respect that they deserve, I think, is adding acceptance to online originals.
Well, Netflix has adapted, has brought some online-only content into Red vs. Blue and Ruby are both on Netflix.
That's right, yeah. And
Online-only content before Netflix.
Red vs. Blue was out before YouTube, so talk about that now on Netflix. I mean, there's a lot of this stuff out there.
And that's really powerful for YouTube creators like us because you wake up every morning and you're like, oh yes, I'm going to make this show and it's going to be wonderful, but it's never going to see TV. Well, now it can.
Well, I don't even
You're
care if
wrong.
it sees TV. I mean, I'm at the point now, we've had a lot of conversations in the online producing area about, people are just doing it to get on TV. Why would you want to do it just to get on TV right now?
Or not TV, but mainstream
To make
media.
money.
Yeah, but there are ways to make money. We're
Not as
getting,
much.
That's true, but that's changing, which is something we can talk about later.
Yeah, no.
'Cause
Eventually, it's changing. But
Eventually it's changing.
But for right now, the cost, the pay differential between TV and online is
It's huge. The amount of money that you're making an online creator is just ridiculous. It's not making whatever your cost is for making an hour of a TV show. You cannot recoup that cost just through your ad revenue off of an online video.
Yeah.
It just can't happen right now. That's why there are other monetization strategies that are coming into play. That's why there are other companies coming out and different ways of selling the ads. And
Kickstarter, sponsorship, pornography.
things. Pornography is big. I hear.
There's a lot of piracy though. They're not
That's
making the money they
true.
used to make.
That's true. Yeah, it's hard to keep track of that stuff.
Next topic.
It's a shame.
What are we on? What are we doing?
Good porn's worth paying for. VidCon.
VidCon. Yeah, so VidCon.
While you're rolling your feelings.
I am actually, it's perfect segue right there, because I am leaving early tomorrow morning to go to VidCon.
Early,
For those of you who
early.
don't know, VidCon is the largest convention celebrating online entertainment and video. It started by Hank Green 5 years ago, 6 years ago? I don't remember how long. Sorry, Hank. It is an amazing, amazing place. And for somebody like me who spends all my life online, making online video and spending all my time doing this kind of stuff, it's a great place to be. Josh, you had some questions earlier about why is it relevant?
No, my question was why are the Emmys relevant?
Why are the Emmys relevant? Oh,
With,
I thought you were talking about VidCon. I was like, do you really need to know why VidCon's relevant?
No, I understand why VidCon's relevant. I was saying that the Emmys aren't particularly relevant.
But I mean, this was interesting because to me it feels related to VidCon because Google had their earnings out for the second quarter, and they just had a release talking about their earnings, and they've seen an 11% increase of $17.7 billion. Is it billion or million? I don't remember. I
I'm
wrote it down.
guessing billion.
Yeah, billion.
Billion.
Yeah, that's a billion because million is tiny for YouTube. They've seen a 60% increase in watch time. If you look at the demographics that are on YouTube right now, it is a younger demographic that is growing up. That is their primary source of entertainment. All of this is pointing to a way where they can finally start charging more for the ads that they're actually streaming on these things. The quality is going up. The ad revenue is going up per video basis. The watch times are going up. The audiences are increasing. We can finally get to the point, hopefully, where we can start saying, no, there's actually really value in this.
No, everyone knows there's value in it. The problem is right now the ad buying is locked up by television and cable. The entire infrastructure is built to support that. And the money is moving over, but it's moving over slowly. So what frankly needs to happen is there needs, things like HBO Go being available without a cable subscription is one of the steps that will make that transition happen faster. The more networks that make themselves available a la carte will make that happen faster.
That is incredibly frustrating, like wanting to watch these things without having a cable subscription.
Well, but ESPN just lost 2.5 million subscribers due to cord cutters last year. ESPN, by and large, is the only thing keeping cable alive.
That's true, yeah.
But here's the downside of that, is that there are channels that are producing some really great content that without cable carriage fees, you ain't going to see that.
I mean, you're looking at AMC.
Exactly. Walking Dead or
happen.
FX with Justified, none of that stuff gets made without cable carriage fees. Those programs don't exist. They need an alternative monetization structure in order to continue it. Now, Netflix has provided some of that, but we'll see.
Yeah, but even then, I mean, at some point you reach critical mass. You can't be expected to subscribe to AMC, subscribe to Netflix, subscribe to HBO, all of these things. So there's a critical mass on what the subscription model is going to actually support. Where it is, I don't know. Nobody really knows. I do know that there are a lot of people working really hard on it, and that's one of the reasons I love going to VidCon is because when you go to the industry section of VidCon, there are a lot of people talking about that stuff. We heard about Jason Clark's Vessel startup 2 years ago, and now they've just started, and they're trying to get people in, and they're doing an increased revenue share with the creators who are on their channel. There's a lot of movement in the space right now, and VidCon is a great place to be at the forefront of that, especially from an industrial perspective.
I can't wait for your coverage.
Neither can I. And the sad thing is, and it's not sad, I'm actually on staff, so I'm going to be working a lot there. I'm like running a bunch of the panels.
Book us guests.
I will book us some
For
guests.
real, though.
And I will be on. We'll be on with .geek Thursday, Friday, and Saturday at 5 o'clock Pacific. So that's 7 o'clock Central.
Well, it's not .geek specifically.
It's Daily Dot. Okay, Daily Dot. Sorry about that.
Yeah, you can talk geek stuff.
Talk geek stuff. So we're going to be doing that, and then I think I'm also going to dial in Wednesday for the show. We need to talk about whether I can dial in.
We'll see if that
that
actually. Well, you tell me. It'll be a matter of bandwidth and whether or not I can tolerate it.
It might be me on my phone going, "Hey, I'm
If
here."
it's not, I'll just bring somebody else in to replace you.
Whatever.
We are all replaceable.
Expendable.
Next topic.
Next topic. Go to VidCon.
So
actually, I'm not expendable. By and large, I'm the only one who knows how all of this shit works.
I know. I walked in earlier and you were doing stuff. I was like, I really need to just follow him.
just follow Josh. So I am really, one of the things I'm really excited about this week is, in comics news, Grant Morrison just announced that he will be doing a Wonder Woman Earth 1 story that is, in my opinion, is a very fresh take on Wonder Woman. He's going to look at aspects of Greek culture. Wonder Woman is often painted as this like warrior. That's what she is. She is that warrior woman, and that sort of situation has become very tropey. And not to say that I don't love that part of Wonder Woman, but there are a lot of aspects of Greek culture and Greek history that are very much being left out of a lot of Wonder Woman stories. I feel like we take the warrior part and we take the god part, and we just everything else is gone. And Grant Morrison talks in the article or in the press release about how he really wanted to put a focus on the Amazons as a society of scientists and artists and thinkers. And one of Wonder Woman's motivations for leaving Themyscira was because they had more or less reached their max capacity of growth, in all of these fields, keeping themselves separated from the rest of the world. So that's definitely going to play into his story. There were other things about the perspective on Wonder Woman that I found really, really interesting. The Invisible Jet is getting a Georgia O'Keeffe makeover, which is awesome to me.
What does that mean exactly? Can you explain what you mean by that?
It means that the jet,
come on.
The design of the jet has some vaginal influence.
That's what it means.
They were very inspired by the shape of girl parts in designing the ship, and I am
makes
really
sense.
okay with that. Girl parts are pretty.
If you're in a society made up entirely of women, having a bunch of phallic imagery doesn't make a lot of sense, really. So that makes sense to me. I get it because people will say that planes are phallic, but planes are also aerodynamic. That's my only complaint. It's like, where lift and how does that work?
I'm trying aerodynamic vagina. I'm just picturing groundskeeping joke.
Aerodynamic vagina.
Joke.
Vagina.
No, but seriously, like, what's more comfortable to sit in, an airplane or
A vagina.
I just wanna cozy on up right inside of
I have
it.
never actually heard that question before. That might be the first time that sentence has
You cannot
ever
fly a
been
vagina
spoken.
into battle.
Can you not?
I don't know.
Wonder
All I
Woman
know
can
is,
if you're
look,
Wonder Woman.
They're finally moving. It's funny because like they're moving Wonder Woman away from being at her core the only woman that Superman can safely have sex with, which for a fair bit of like that's a fairly common thing. Oh, it's finally someone Superman can really give it to her.
I've read fanfic. Batman can take it. Batman can take it. Danny's
Batman
things.
can totally take it. I love that.
I feel like there's a bat harness of some kind involved.
I'm sure
As
there is.
there should
bat-
be.
It has
bat-
to be.
a
That
bat
dude's got more
prophylactic.
hardware. What do you think he uses it all for? Can't all be for fighting crime.
No, it's for Robin. Anyway. Next topic.
Oh, we should just have Danny's. This show is now called Danny's Things. That's just, we're going to call it
We should
Forget
separate
Doc
show.
Geek. It's Danny's Things.
So another thing that came out this week that is awesome for comic book fans. So a fan made this really amazing Justice League fan trailer, and the quality on it is really good. I'm super excited. I dig it.
See, I brought this one up because it was last week you brought up the fan trailer for the
American Horror Story.
American Horror Story. And I had a real big problem with that because it was nothing but just disjointed clips with some music in there. The thing I like about this, and the reason I like this as a fan trailer, is because you can see there's at least a sense of narrative in the story. You sense that the Justice League is getting together. You can see what the movie would be about using this. So I really like the way they did this.
To be fair, the opening sequences of American Horror Story do not tell stories. They are a series of jarring images
Yes.
with jarring music meant to make you go, ugh!
The opening
Which that did.
sequence, not trailers.
That wasn't. It wasn't supposed to be a trailer. It was supposed to be the opening. They used the opening sequence movie and titled it a trailer. I don't actually think that they really knew how to word. They just knew how to cut Lady Gaga.
Well, they
into-
definitely didn't know how to do that because they called it official.
Yeah.
And that bothered me.
Yeah, they did not word
that
properly.
was not an official video.
But we can't all word properly, So this is supposed to be Captain Marvel is supposed to be on this team. I have a frustrating thing. They always want to include Captain Marvel in Justice League stories because one of Superman's only other weaknesses, or not weaknesses, but inabilities, is the inability to deal with magic. So it makes sense for them to have a magic user on the team because if you have a magic bad guy, there's nothing Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman.
But this thing keeps flashing to Black Adam for the Rock.
It's questionable because I wonder how are you going to do Black Adam without also introducing Captain Marvel? Weren't the two so very steeped in each other's stories?
No, Black Adam was a Captain Marvel essentially.
Yeah.
2,000 years ago before being. He's got a very who's the bad guy from Green Lantern? Sinestro. He's got a very similar to like Sinestro kind of vibe. Oh, I'm a good guy. Oh, I'm taking over to be a good guy. Now I'm a bad guy. Exiled. Yada yada yada. But yeah, they are steeped in it. I could see them bringing him in as the bad guy and having a little Billy Batson running around kind of in the background that they don't bring in the entire time.
Yeah.
For Child Protective Service.
I'm just saying it's
He is
really
an orphan.
negligent to put a
It's
10-year-old
very
on your
negligent.
team. It's very negligent.
That's so true. That's so true. You shouldn't have 10-year-olds on your superhero team.
And this is so funny to me because like this is a great trailer. This is wonderful. It does highlight the only issue that I really have with a lot of Justice League stories, in that I would like to see more female characters in the Justice League actively participating. You have a magic user, Zatanna. Let's not even go into the fact that you could go all Young Justice and have Zatanna pick up the helm of Dr. Fate because she has the ability because she is a magic wielder and can do that too. We can even skip past all of that. I mean, I would love to see Zatanna on the team. I would love to see Vixen on the team.
I also feel like Olivia Munn could probably play Zatanna.
Oh, totally. Absolutely.
Totally.
Would you be upset if she did this Zatanna outfit with the fishnet stockings and the whole thingamabob? Because that is the costume.
No, because Zatanna's skill set is not physical. It does not require flips. It does not require high kicks. It
But
does not
but
require.
wait.
Now, that having been said, she's still going to look absolutely ridiculous in a swimsuit and fishnet stockings.
Yeah, but you're okay with that costume, but you're not okay with Psylocke's costume?
I didn't say I was okay with it. If I would much rather them put some pants on Zatanna as well. If they put
Didn't
her
they
in the
do it in
Justice League
Smallville?
movies.
Because I didn't watch all of Smallville. I kind of dialed out. But when Zatanna came on, yeah, there was a part of it where she was actually a performer and she was on stage.
Yeah,
in
that's
Vegas
the
or
whole
something.
thing. It's the outfit from the performance.
Yeah, but later on though, she ditched that and had like legit clothes.
I am actually I'm like all on board with Zatanna taking up the Dr. Fate helm. Actually, like including the outfit that gives us a great excuse for a total outfit remodel while still being able to show Zatanna on stage in her original Zatanna costume.
The Lords of Order are so lame.
Any character is lame if you have a lame person writing a lame script.
I gotta put on my super helmet for magic. Yay!
Well, it's just there. I've always really liked Zatanna. I'm such a huge Paul Dini fan, and he does this wonderful Zatanna that I think would be great. And even then, like even with this fan trailer, there is so much footage of Black Canary being awesome from Arrow that could have easily made it into the JLA. Like Black Canary on
true.
JLA. I mean,
I could watch Katie Lotz from Arrow all day.
Seriously.
Man, that's
and
a
this is
superhero right there.
when they first announced that Gorgie McGorgeous son, whatever his name is, who I cannot think of it right
Chris
now
Pine.
off the top of my head. No,
No?
actually not.
No, not
No,
really.
not really.
That's not a Danny's thing?
That's not a Danny's thing.
What?
I'm sure he's a very nice man. But put him in a dress, we'll talk. But anyway,
Vagina plane. Then we got
vagina
something.
plane.
Vagina
Put him in a
plane.
vagina plane. Then
Vagina
we got
plane.
some.
Somebody draw that.
But for
Oh God.
But when they cast Aquaman, it was still up in the air who the 7 members of the Justice League were, because at the time it was, okay, we've got Aquaman, we've got Batman, we've got Superman, we've got Wonder Woman, and then of course presumably we've got Green Lantern and the Flash, which sort of left that 7th spot open, and that
Cyborg.
could have been Cyborg. I would have loved to have seen Cyborg. It could have been Martian Manhunter. It could also be their magic wielder, Zatanna. And I'm just saying, like, there is this problem where you have like a team of 7 people and you've got one girl on the team. That's token. It's totally token. It's just to check off a demographic is how it comes off to me. That is one thing about the Justice League Unlimited series. They actually poke fun in one episode where they're talking about new recruitment, and Wonder Woman says, she's like, I would like to see more girls on the team. And Hot Girl and Black Canary are sitting there like, It's just a really great moment because it is true. Like, Justice League is a bit of a sausage fest in most stories.
It's true.
It's like a sword fight, which I'm all in favor of.
So they
but that's a
haven't
different
announced-
movie.
They haven't announced the 7th. For some reason, I felt like they announced the 7th one.
No, I
because
think
it
they
had-
did. This was back.
Way
This
back.
was-
Okay, all right.
This
I'm
is
sorry.
way back. I believe it's going to be. Well, actually, I don't know because I don't know
It's
who the
Cyborg.
7th member
I think
is.
it is
Cyborg?
Cyborg. Okay,
Is it
yeah. So
officially
that
Cyborg?
wasn't
Yeah.
you guessing. That's
No,
what
no,
you
that's
said.
And I'm
all right,
really,
there you go.
I'm
All
in
right.
favor of that. I think that is awesome. I love Cyborg. One woman on your 7-person team. I'm just saying.
All right, we are out of time. Bring
Oh,
us
God.
home.
Oh, no video of the week.
No, we can do a quick video of the
No, you
week.
can do
Yeah,
it.
do
Do
a
the
quick
video
video of the week.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
okay, so this video of the week is the video of my year of my life. If you haven't already seen the Key and Peele Pirate Shanty, this video is absolutely amazing. So it's basically them singing a good old-fashioned pirate song about consent and women's rights, proving that you can be a feminist without being a not funny stick in the mud. This is actually roll on the floor. Hilarious.
It's great. It's really good. I mean, you've got me singing the chorus the entire time. Say yo ho, but we don't say ho, cause ho is disrespectful, yo.
I seriously,
Perfect.
like,
Come on.
I want to be the captain of a feminist pirate ship.
I
I'm so.
I mean,
This
there
is
were
was
plenty
the
of
captain?
There were plenty of examples of female pirates. Over the course.
yeah,
they were. Yeah.
Historically speaking, abso-stinking-lutely.
Yeah, they were terrible people.
Well, so were most
just like
pirates.
Yeah.
pirates, just like
'Cause that
regular
kind of goes with
pirates.
being a pirate.
Equal opportunity, terrible.
Yes.
For your
Yes.
historical
No, there were
viewing
many
pleasure.
women pirates. I'm glad they're dead. Glad they're dead.
They're just scary.
And
But-
in hell.
And if you believe in such a place,
If you believe in such a place,
Believe in
which I
such a
don't.
place. If you don't,
It's filled with chick lady pirates.
chicks-
So it's all my friends.
I was about to say,
basically.
hell
I
sounds
mean,
kind of awesome.
Hell sounds.
Hell is filled with lady pirates.
That sounds amazing.
I'm going to hell.
If hell
Who
is
wants
filled
to get
with
on the
lady
bus?
pirates.
Yeah, but personal hygiene wasn't invented for several centuries after that.
Seriously, hell is full of hellfire. Personal there's no amount of deodorant that
Smelly
you can put on to fix that
lady
sweat.
pirates. Smelly
lady pirates.
Smelly lady pirates surrounded by fire.
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm into
And
it.
on that note, vagina plane, Danny, take
Danny,
us
take it
home.
away. We need a little vagina plane for me to drive off in, like Snoopy's house. Okay. Anyway.
Kind of like the Snoopy thing that was flying around the CCC.
Yes, but
just
me
a vagina plane with
in
you on top
a
of it.
vagina jet.
You heard it, Internet. There's some people out there
Just a vajet.
who have
A jet.
A vajet.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Does that make me a suffragette?
Somebody out there has a drone. Just get on it. Get on it.
And on that note, please be sure to tune in to us on Wednesday when we do this all again. Silly shenanigans, vagina jets. God only knows what we'll talk about then. But thank you for joining us for .geek. As always, please tweet your thoughts and opinions and comments to us, or leave them down below in the comments area where there is that on the YouTubes.
Follow us on Twitch and on YouTubes.
Follow us on all the
various and
things.
sundry other places.
Follow us straight into hell, where you'll meet lots of historical, smelly lady pirates.
We'll have fun. We'll sing shanties.
Cheers. Take us home, Will.
It'll be fun. Rum.